Oh, look, I have like a little Conan swoosh.
So Conan swoosh.
Coming after you, Conan. One hairstyle at a time. One hairstyle and one podcast at a time. Hi, everybody. I'm Miss Emily.
And I'm Miss Emma.
And we're the Movie Moms.
Cheers. You do. You know it.
Do I? But do I?
It's going to be a little bit of an instrumental intro here first.
Yeah. You're right. I did know that song. I did, but I wasn't prepared. Similarly, actually, was not prepared for Poor Things.
Oh, yeah.
Which is what we're discussing today. Normally on this podcast, we're going to talk about like movies that we watched before motherhood and then after motherhood, and really discuss like why and how it changed our perspective as an audience member. Mm-hmm. But this one came out obviously this year, so in 2023, 2024, who cares? And obviously we didn't watch it before motherhood, but we really wanted to watch it because it was like Emma Stone can do no wrong.
It's Oscar season in March.
Oscar season. Obviously, they won big. They got nominated for like 11 different Oscars, including, I'll tell you the nominations first. Here we go. Okay, Best Film Editing. I could see that.
There was
Best Cinematography. Definitely. It was gorgeous. It was cool, and it was like intriguing how they shot like the fish islands and stuff, I guess.
It was different.
I'm really trying to talk myself into this one. Okay, Best Original Score. Best Supporting Actor, Mark Ruffalo. Best Adapted Screenplay, because it came from a book, as I learned today. Best Director is Yorgos L. Best Picture, obviously. And they were nominated and won for Best Makeup and Hairstyling, Best Production Design, which is basically like everything, like the set pieces and the props and the people in the background and all the things that aren't like the main characters, basically, the production design. Best Costume Design, debatable, and Best Actress, Emma Stone, of course. Here's the thing with the Oscars. I'm still very bummed about the Barbie snub. Okay? And I think it's clear now, after watching Poor Things, why Barbie was snubbed. And I think Barbie was just too pure. It was too wholesome of entertainment for the Oscars. They needed full frontal nudity from everyone to win. And you're not going to do a full frontal of like smooth genitals. And a Barbie, I have this theory that I told you earlier that like, I don't think there has been a Best Actress winner that hasn't been fully nude in the movie that she won the Oscar for. I'm thinking back even to Halle Berry. I'm thinking back even to like Charlize Theron. I'm thinking back to like all of them. And yeah, there's been a lot of like nominees who didn't get naked, but all the winners of Best Actress, I'm pretty sure have gotten naked for it. And I'm
couldn't challenge you on
pissed.
Don't know.
Come at me. If I'm wrong, tell me. But I really
listen and then give us feedback.
Yeah, there has to be a stat somewhere. Like somebody has to have this info or something.
Absolutely.
So I tried to Google it. Nothing really came up. And then I was like, maybe it's more rare and more findable if I say like who didn't get naked for their Oscar. Also 0 results. Also nobody. So I think I'm right. Barbie should have gotten a lot more love.
They did get a decent amount of publicity otherwise, though, for the snub.
You're right.
And also, neither of them seemed too concerned about, like, hey, we already made our $1 billion.
Correct. Hey,
We'll
we're
go
billionaires.
cry and we'll go cry and use our money as our tissues.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're giving out $1 million per statue for the Oscars, and I have $1 billion for my one movie. So
It was successful.
guess what lives on longer? My movie.
That's true.
Next year, those Oscars will be replaced by new ones, but Barbie will live on forever.
It will.
And their $1 billion as well. This episode of The Movie Moms is brought to you by Sac Rooted. Sac Rooted is a local apparel company based here in Sacramento, and their mission is to bring us all together one shirt at a time. You can find your Sac Rooted apparel at sacrooted.com. That's SACROOTED.com. All right, that being said, Emma Stone did win. She won Best Actress. Her speech was incredible. It was darling. It was heartfelt. I loved it. I love that she got it from one of her best friends, Jennifer Lawrence. So cute. I think it was still well deserved. I think any of them could have won, and they would have been well deserved. Let me see let me give you the whole roster here. Lily Gladstone, of course, was nominated for Killers of the Flower Moon. She was the first or second nominee.
Native American
nominee. First?
No, I want to
she's
say
the second.
first for a leading role.
Yeah, I think she's the first for a leading role. You're right. For Best Actor, not
like a supporting actress. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we had Lily Gladstone, we had Annette Bening, icon, Carey Mulligan in Maestro, icon, and Sandra Hüller from Anatomy of a Fall. She was in 2 Oscar-nominated films in the same year.
This year?
Yes. Anatomy of a Fall and something else. And she was like, that, what? That in and of itself, to be in 2 Oscar-winning films, like, you had something to do with it. Like, you are a commended nominator at that point. Like, that's so cool. So I feel like all of them could have won and, like, made history in some way. I feel like Annette Bening and Carey Mulligan will be nominated like Meryl Streep for whatever they do. I think Carey Mulligan is one of the best actors of our time. So she can do no wrong to me. So I feel like all of them could have won. But, like, I guess. Here's Emma Stone. Mm-hmm. Love her.
This is her second?
Her second win.
What was the first one?
I believe La La Land.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I still never seen that film, but I feel like I would love that film.
You would love it. Especially after watching this.
Especially after this. Let me just take it down a notch.
Woo!
Give me some entertainment.
We just palette wash. Palette cleanse yourself.
I love a musical. I love Ryan Gosling. I love Emma Stone. Don't love L.A. No offense, L.A.
Yeah, but it's okay. It shows you the few things that are nice about LA, and you're like, yeah, we know. That's all that's all that's nice about it.
You're right. That is definitely the first one she went.
God, it's so good. It's so much better than this one.
This one really, as soon as we started watching it, highlighted for me. I've always said, like, oh, I'm not the film. I don't know that much about film. I'm just somebody who watches movies. Sure. This one highlighted the, like, I can tell from the beginning that this is an artsy film. Obviously, it won things. Obviously, people appreciated things about this film.
Right.
And it was hard for me to stomach. I was like, I know this is getting at more than what is on the surface. Like, this is a deeper film than what I see. But I'm having a hard time finding what I'm supposed to, without Googling, what are the main themes of Poor Things. I'm having a hard time picking up or getting past incisions or really weird for cuts and stuff. It was hard. It was a hard start.
Yeah, those artistic choices is typically what they call them. And that's because there's no other word to really describe a weird choice without saying, oh, it's artistic.
Yes.
But it's weird. It was really weird. All I knew about it was the Oscar stuff, and then I saw, like, little interviews along the way, like, oh, this movie's about this, like, tell me more. And I'm like, oh, this sounds awesome. Like, a woman who gets, like, a new brain and discovers life again.
Emma
as
Stone
an adult.
being like, oh, I found, like, a new, like, zest for life, basically, through this film. And I was like, love that. I could use some zest.
Relatable, too. Yeah. Like, I feel like, motherhood could have done that for us. In some ways it does. In some ways it sucks the life out of you. But in some ways, it gives you another zest for life. Like, you're really, like, experiencing life again through somebody else's eyes. So it kind of was like, okay, cool. Like, that'll be on theme. We'll relate. Obviously, it's good. Buddy, we were wrong. This movie, within the first 5 minutes?
Oh, yeah, at least.
I mean,
It
it's
was
black and white
odd.
off the bat. Off the
Yeah.
bat, first thing you see, it's black and white. I'm like, okay, well, none of the pictures and promo pics that I've seen of this movie have been in black
Yeah,
and white.
and like the Oppenheimer, like, juxtaposition
Yeah.
of like a time before and a colorful life and
Colorful.
and I know it's an artistic choice.
Yeah.
I just don't know enough about film to know more than that.
Yeah,
Like, I
was
know
like,
this
okay.
is symbolism, but what does that mean?
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, let's get in it. Let's put this film study to good use, Emily. Here we go. Black and white. Her world isn't full of color yet.
Mm-hmm.
She hasn't stepped out of her own way, in a way, right? Like, kids have their black and white sort of view on the world. It's either this way or it's not. There's no gray yet. So I'm like, okay, come on. I'm with it. Then we get about 10, 15 minutes in, and it takes a sharp turn.
Trigger warning.
Yeah. A lot and several different trigger warnings. There's so much cadaver
Incisioning.
incisioning.
I hate it. I don't mind blood, but an incision, like watching, you can insinuate the incision,
Yeah.
but to watch like skin be cut like that.
Yeah, the only thing the camera's showing is the cutting of the skin. Like, why? We don't need it. You could just show that he's cutting open a cadaver. We know. We get it. And we get why. Should we just spoil this? Because I feel like I'm not going to recommend anybody watching this movie.
You can watch it, but watch it all the way through because the first half, odd.
The first hour, guys, is tough.
I was ready to quit. I was at minute 52.
I'll tell you what, up until
Ready
the
to
last
quit.
20 minutes, I was ready to quit. The last 10 minutes, maybe even. The last 10 minutes redeemed it. The ending redeemed it all.
Well, there's that one part, I don't remember where, maybe 2/3 of the way through, I was like, oh, finally it got less weird. And then it stepped up the weirdness as soon as I said that. I was
Yeah.
like, ooh.
You were like, ooh, I spoke too soon.
Whoa.
Okay, 30 seconds too soon.
Yeah, yikes.
Okay, so let's say this. I will say this. My notes included a little bit of motherhood, tying in motherhood to this movie. And then it went so off the rails. I was like, I can't. Like, I just can't relate it to anything else. But, okay, my only thing was that, like, in the beginning, this character, Bella, played by Emma Stone, she flings herself off of a bridge in tears. So we know what's happening. And we later, a few minutes in, learn that she was pregnant while she did that. And this mad scientist found her, played by William Dafoe. He finds her, like, floating in the water next to his house, whatever body of water that was.
Or he gets cadavers. I
Yeah,
think.
like he has like
and so it gets like returned, like he
Yeah.
gets this body to be like, hey, here's for your
must have,
science
like,
class.
Yeah, like a filter or something, right?
Yeah.
Like
And she was mostly dead, but
she was dead, but her the baby
Infant.
was not. So she had a baby alive in her belly still, but she was dead. And so this mad scientist decided, obviously, I think the quote was, obviously, there was only one thing to do. And it was to put the baby brain inside the mom's body, replace the brains, put the infant brain in the mom body, and then let the mom live on as the baby
for science, for his science amusement,
for science.
for
Now-
his own, be like,
Pleasure?
hey, yeah, what is that? Can I do it? And then be like, what happens if you put an infant brain in an adult body?
Yeah, because he didn't have plans to like release her into the wild. Like he definitely planned to keep her in captivity.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like any science experiment with like a big
Like a Frankenstein.
controlled. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I asked Dave that.
He looked like
That's
Frankenstein.
my husband. Like I said, is he supposed to be Is he supposed to be Frankenstein? Is he like Frankenstein reincarnated?
Yeah.
You find out that his dad experimented on him.
Yeah, see, maybe
a
that's
bunch.
it, though. Maybe that is Frankenstein's monster. Dr. Frankenstein put his brain in his own monster. And then that monster now is doing their own experiments on cadavers they find dead in the water. And I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like I really want to know, is this like an artsy take on it, or was this what the book was like, you know?
Right.
I am not intrigued enough to go read it, but I'll just think every once in a while that will pop up in my mind.
This episode of the Movie Moms is brought to you by Sackrooted. Sackrooted is a local apparel company based here in Sacramento, and their mission is to bring us all together one shirt at a time. You can find your Sackrooted apparel at sackrooted.com. That's SACROOTED.com. So what I will say is that watching this like infant brain develop via Emma Stone, the only thing I can say is that motherhood, what is it? It gave me the perspective to be like, oh, she's one. Oh, now she's two. Oh, she's definitely three. You know, like I was like counting the
Yeah.
years until we got to about preteen, teen, 12ish.
Yeah. Like, oh, she's having a tantrum.
Oh, she's
Oh, she's throwing play. She's testing.
She's testing.
She's testing. Ah, she's doing this. But then
That's it. But then that's it, buddy. That's the only.
but the phallic stage in a adult body was weird to watch. To be like to know like child brain. Not that self-pleasuring is weird, but the two combined, the like child adult, the juxtaposition.
Yeah.
It was
the
it was
childlike
odd for me.
behavior, the childlike experimentation with your own body,
With adult noises accompanied, you
right,
know,
with an adult face and
you
adult
know,
noises,
because
and
it's
you're
not what
just like,
a kid is.
the kid's
Just
not
got
doing
his
that.
hands in his pants.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
right.
and just like
There's no.
that's silly. It's not like I'm not gonna make the noises. I'm not gonna do it.
I thought about it too. But
It's
she's like, I think I was probably also feral at that time, where I just wanted to like hump everything. Like I just needed to. I needed to hump everything. But like to see, yeah, you're right. And maybe that's kind of the point. It's dawning on me now. Like maybe that's one of the comments that they're trying to make is like, it isn't sexy to be a kid, you know, like to be a kid mind and then like to have these things, like it's not okay. Like that's where like
Yeah.
the
I was
line is
happy
drawn,
to
you
know that God, or the God figure,
the William Dafoe,
Godwin, yeah,
the Frankenstein
was
thing.
never. I was so worried that it was going to turn into this gross, like, you are put a child's brain into an adult body, and now you can take advantage of this adult child. And I'm glad it didn't turn out like that.
Actually,
because
there
I
was a
like,
line, right? He was like, oh, I thought for sure that like you were raising her to be your mistress,
Yeah.
like grooming her basically, which is
my
a thing.
paternal feelings outweigh my sexual like desires, and you're like, yay, good.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
I would hope so. I'm
Not
glad.
like as hard past like, oh God, I would never do that. That's a disgusting idea. It's just like, no, it's just like, I don't get as turned on as I do like feel like a dad. You're like, wait, what? Well, if my paternal feelings didn't kick in more than my hard on did, then I guess I would.
But he was a eunuch too, so it was hard. He told us that.
But that's the reason. It's not because his morality was like, ew. It's because like his dick wasn't there.
Yeah. So to get past the, I guess the surface level oddities of the film, obviously it was not made just to be a surface level film. It was supposed to touch on all kinds of societal hot topics.
Sorry, I have to come back to this Frankenstein
Yes.
nightmare because he was burping literal bubbles
No,
out.
I just didn't understand a lot of it. I feel like I need a whole class. I need to be back in college, and I need a film professor to be like, this is what it meant. And then I'm like, oh, okay.
Even then, I'd be like, nah, this is,
But
I
why?
don't. You can tell me, it's like going to an art exhibit, and like there's some pieces that stick with you and you're just like, man, those are beautiful, like I'm gonna think about those.
Yeah.
And there's some that like you think about, like they're cerebral, you know. And then I feel like there's some pieces every once in a while where you're like, oh, that's gonna stick with me forever in a bad way. Like
Yeah.
that's gonna haunt me. That image is gonna haunt me for a minute. And honestly, this one's gonna haunt me for a bit.
Yeah.
It's gonna haunt me. Those incisions are really bad. And they come without warning. They just cut to a knife cutting a body open. And you're like, oh God, we're just ow.
And I feel like if it was the point of the story, I get a little bit from what I can see and what I have tried to Google. That at least one thing I think with this film is it tries to cover, so I don't know if it's just trying to open up conversations because it's not concluding anything. Maybe it's just really trying to literally open the wound on a bunch of conversations, or like make you think.
It's all of them. It's not like we're gonna comment on like sexuality, or we're gonna comment on like abusing bodies,
Feminism,
or
scientific ethics, morality, you know,
all of it.
female oppression, toxic masculinity, like all kinds of like not unimportant conversations, but A, to me, it feels like too much for one film, and B, for my average little eye, unless I Googled it, too weird and subtle.
I think the main one was feminism.
Yeah,
right?
I think so. And like fight and like breaking free of
Men.
barriers.
Yeah, like whether it's financially or professionally or even like personally, like or sexually, like
Yeah.
breaking free of these like constructs that men made back in the day to control women and conquer them and treat them like property and stuff. That was apparent. That was loud and clear.
Yeah,
and I
that like
appreciate
the
that.
very first one, it was both like a juxtaposition of like this is a scientific experiment, but this scientific experiment is a human woman, but like
With
we're
a
gonna
baby, like the
control,
most fragile thing. Yeah.
and we're gonna control her environment, and she cannot leave this environment.
Mm-hmm.
This is like the first form of oppression was
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah, it really touched on like all different shapes and sizes of oppression.
Yeah, and
and
then
then the spectrum of it, like it could be little bits.
yeah,
it could
and
be
then
a
the
lot.
promise of freedom and the corruption of like no, you're too good, and now you're mine, and you're mine. Anything that's or just like the corruption, I guess, of most things, whether it's money or, but in this case, like, but for a lot of things, and it's usually men in power, which happens to usually be white men.
Which are traditionally white men. Sorry about that.
But to be like, if it's good and if they threatened it might leave, then it's mine, and I like clamp down, and I like nobody else gets it. To the point of insanity.
like I feel like they implied a lot with Mark Ruffalo's character, who was probably my favorite of
Yeah.
all because he was just so silly and
He
funny
was
and
the most
dramatic
ridiculous, where it felt like this artistic thing that came together because you like know it's supposed to be ridiculous.
Who was my favorite?
Yeah.
I think he kept me going because without that, I don't know if I would have powered through. He was so good. He was so funny, but I feel like he embodied like the man child, you know, who was like, she broke me.
Yeah.
Like,
But
couldn't
first,
handle
like,
it.
oh, let me be the one to show you this world. Let
show
me
you how
charm you. And then, like, oh, you didn't. Like, let me free you from polite society, but be polite. You know,
in
like
this
but
society,
in
like
this,
there's different rules for different society. There's
Yeah.
still rules for you. 'Cause
don't
you're a woman.
embarrass me, though. And I liked you better when you were dumb and you sounded like a child. Now that you're reading philosophy and you're thinking for yourself, this is annoying. And now that you're pointing out all of the flaws in me/society, it's driving me insane. But wait, come back. But
Please
wait,
come back. I
but wait,
love
I
you.
can't.
But also,
Yeah.
like, come back in like your original form when you didn't know any better, and you know this one version of you that I liked. Come back that way.
Yeah, it was, what was the quote? It was,
Oh, there's good quotes.
so you wished, or when he was like, marry me, and she's like, I don't know if I want to, and he's like, then I'll throw you off this boat, and she's like, so you wish to marry me or kill me? And I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, you either want to marry me or you want to kill me,
Yeah.
and that
And
I
that's
can
a
relate.
date. That's not, yeah. But that's like a toxic normalized love in our society for a man to be like that desperate, that it's like it's all or nothing. And you're like, oh, how romantic. You're like, no, it's actually quite threatening.
It's actually scary.
Ooh, that's actually not a healthy relationship to say all to black or white, all or nothing, marry or kill.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's...
It's me or you're overboard. And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that
Either
doesn't
pick
sound
me
very
or I will
lovely.
kill you and your lover. Or your future lover. Like, yeah.
Sounds like a pretty one-sided love here.
Have you ever had that, like, maybe not said explicitly like that, but have you ever felt like that was implied by an ex? Or
Not so
anyone?
strongly, but I have felt like a controlling presence in the like the guy, like under the guile of like, I love you.
Right.
I love you, and so I need to keep you close, or I love you so you can't go this far.
I'll protect
It's
you.
like a lack of trust is what it comes down to, and an insecurity in themselves. In my own non-professional opinion.
I agree.
But to be like, like, I know you like to socialize, but don't socialize with these people.
Right.
I know this is a part of who you are, but I need you to tame that side back around these people because it makes me uncomfortable.
Right.
Like, otherwise, like, how could you slight me like this? Like,
Right, like-
you didn't love me enough to tame, to like,
not
dim
embarrass me?
yourself. Yeah. You're like, okay, well,
Yeah,
not
if
my
I-
current relationship, P.S.
Yeah, thank God. I feel like a lot of the times it's like I will break something off with a guy because he's like, well, you're my girlfriend. And I'm like, well, no.
This is my most toxic relationship.
There is no more toxic relationship than the one with your child. That's true. This episode of The Movie Moms is brought to you by Sac Rooted. Sac Rooted is a local apparel company based here in Sacramento, and their mission is to bring us all together one shirt at a time. You can find your Sac Rooted apparel at sacrooted.com. That's SACROOTED.com. Because as toxic as a man can be, there's no more toxicity in my life than with my kid.
It's true because it's everything you've learned as an adult now that you're like, hey, I need to set boundaries with my adult relationships about not letting somebody treat me like this.
Right.
And then it's your child, and you have to teach them to not be toxic. But you're in a toxic relationship with your child, and then you have to detox them and yourself.
God, could you
And it's
imagine
pretty
being in a
triggering.
toxic relationship with your kid and with your partner? Ooh, what if you birthed another toxic piece of shit and you're stuck. Now you're trapped in a house with two toxic ass.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. If that's
It's
you, I'm
true.
so sorry. There's a way out.
'Cause
There's a
here's
way
the
out.
difference.
Listen to this
Big
single
difference.
mom, okay? There's a way out.
Big difference. An adult toxic relationship
Yeah.
has the fully developed frontal lobe and the wherewithal to be manipulative, whereas a child toxic relationship, they aren't developmentally, it's not as much as it feels manipulative and intentional.
Right.
They don't have the brain development to be able to do the back and forth of like, this is how I feel. This is how my mom feels. Third, this is how I can manipulate the situation to get her to feel. They don't have that. It's just, it feels like that because they're like,
They just feel.
do this to get what I want.
Right.
It's just more of like cause and effect. Like if I do this, then this might be the outcome.
Right.
And like a
Or they could
guess
just be
and check.
experimenting, right? Like they're just experimenting of like, what is the outcome when I do this? What is the outcome when I say this or I break the rule? What does it feel like to get in trouble?
What are the boundaries?
Yeah.
And I can just scream and yell at you because I don't actually know emotional regulation. You're supposed to teach me.
Right.
Whereas an adult toxic relationship,
You should know.
not
You
all
should
of us
know how
know.
to
I'm
regulate.
still learning how to regulate.
Yeah, but you should know how to
also-
something.
Yes. Yes. And it's not an excuse. It means that I have work to do, and maybe I'm not. Well, I feel I'm far enough along. I feel like to be in a successful relationship, or to be like, I still have things to work on.
Yeah.
But I'm not my child to me, or
Right.
to Dave, where I'm like,
Yeah, you don't act like a child towards your partner, which I feel like shows emotional maturity and healing and on doing the work and stuff, right?
and I feel like in this movie, Mark Ruffalo's character like demonstrates that perfectly, where he's like clean and a lawyer and this professional person on the outside, and then you get him and he's literally pulling his hair out, or he's like, "Gah!" and he like dashes his head against the thing, just like
Or he,
just
like,
the most
stomped like a little tantrum.
stomps. Yeah, just the most outrageous little tantrums.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, that's accurate.
Raise your hand if you've ever seen a grown man throw a real tantrum.
Hand raised.
I'm flattered by your desire to trap me, but you're not the first.
Yeah.
Love. I'm flattered by your desire to trap me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes. That goes out to all my. That goes out to all my exes. It's I'm flattered by your desire to trap me, but no.
But no, thank you. You're not the first, and I always
And
hope
you
you're
won't
the
be
last.
the last, buddy. But I'm not being trapped. Okay.
You can't trap
So
me.
good.
I
Okay,
know
well,
about your
what is this
chlorophyll
one?
gin drink.
Okay. Okay.
It was awesome.
We've gotten into it. We really got into the depths here. And I'll tell you, the ending, we were very passionate, you and I, watching the ending, because we were like, if this ending doesn't pan out and pay off, we're quitting movies. I can't. We suffered so much to not have a nice ending payoff. And baby, I'll tell you what, it paid off. It was like the satisfaction that like my inner feminist needed. I feel like she had the best orgasm of her life, like an intellectual, artistic orgasm of like the patriarchy, like
Yeah.
just like yes, like I wanted that from Promising Young Woman. I wanted her to like kill all the rapists, and she just sort of like punished them, which is fine. It's fine. But I wanted the satisfaction of blood spill,
Yeah.
And like we kind of we really actually got that in a very twisted,
Yes.
unexpected way.
Poor thing. Mm-hmm. Patronizing in itself. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, what's your hot take?
My hot take on this film would be, for the average viewer, if you want to give it a go, best of luck. My hot take was it was whew, above my, without a Googling and some research on what I was supposed to be getting out of it. It was a lot. Too many incisions. Too artsy for me. And that's not to say it's not for everybody. Maybe for a film, put it in a film major class. Let them dissect. I'm sure there's a lot to dissect from it. Not my favorite. To say it in a Midwestern way. Not my favorite.
No thanks there. No
I
thanks.
probably wouldn't do it again.
Yeah, I can promise you one thing. Won't watch that again. All right, here's my hot take. The Oscars are irrelevant. Everything from here on out is subjective. We're going to give out our own Oscars in lieu of the real Oscars next year. And this movie was fine. Congratulations to Emma Stone. Also, thank you for being a fan of the pod and for listening today. And don't bother. Just don't do it. Unless you want to just, you're a self-masochist and you want to just put yourself through some weird trauma. Just don't.
Yeah. Just take with a if you don't like incisions, trigger warning there.
Or full frontal nudity from both genders.
That's true.
Or it's like grapey. It's not rapey, but kind of that grapey area, that gray rapey area, right? If it trigger any kind of trigger with any of the social constructs that suck, just don't watch it. Just skip it all together, and come listen to us next week or next month or whenever we get this thing out. We got some mom tips for you.
Pro mom tip.
Because we are professional moms.
Yeah. One of mine is laundry related, but like last minute laundry. And it's like Barrett currently has 2 pairs of fuzzy pants. I'm not going to buy him anymore because it's almost summertime and he doesn't need like fuzzy lined pants and he's going to grow out of them anyways. And they're not in stores anymore anyways. But he wants to wear them every day, and I don't necessarily do laundry every day. Yeah. And so sometimes whether it's that or it's, oh shit, I forgot to launder my rugby stuff and I have a game later today.
Right.
But I don't want it to smell. I don't want to put it on smelly. Then I either sometimes I do a quick scrub like in some water and some soap, just like scrub off the one stain.
Like in the sink?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quick scrub in the sink. Or sometimes if it's not that dirty, then I just put, I have a dryer ball, put some essential oil in the dryer ball or a dryer sheet in the dryer,
Ooh,
and
the
I
essential
just
oil.
dry it. Yep.
Could you do, okay, I don't have a dryer ball because like I'm cheap. So could I do like a wet washcloth or something with essential oil?
Probably. You can just come have a dryer ball. They're wool. You just reuse them over and over again. I'll give you one.
What is it? It's like is it like
It's like a wool, like a wool ball, and it just collects the lint.
Huh.
But you can also drop essential
Drop
oils in it, so it scents your laundry.
What oils do you typically use?
I don't have enough oils because I'm too cheap, but
See.
I like a lot of dirty.
That's why we're friends.
Yeah, I like a lot of dirty hippie oils for like a diffuser, like patchouli.
Yeah.
But I don't need all of our laundry to smell like patchouli.
I get you,
That's
yeah.
pretty intense, concentrated. So
I feel like lavender's okay. Lavender's
yeah,
pretty
lavender's
chill.
a common one. Though I don't have a lavender though, so it's lemon eucalyptus. Is what I
Lemon
have.
is good. Yeah.
That's what I use for our laundry. But yeah, just throw it in the laundry or throw it in the dryer. Dry it up, get some good smells on it, reuse it one more time. And a quick fix. It's not for all of your laundry, but
In a
I do
pinch.
it for Barrett's clothes some days or for my own sports clothes where I'm like, this is my game day sports bra. And I didn't launder it, and I'm gonna use it.
Wait,
It's
side
kinda
note.
stanky.
Do you have any like game day superstitions or rituals? I'm not trying to degrade them.
Rituals?
Do you have like a specific bra you gotta wear? Do you do your hair a certain way? Is there like a thing? Maybe not for good luck, but you just like
Yeah.
that's your thing.
I did for a while. I still have a pair of like spandex that I think I've had at least since my freshman year of college, if not high school. The same purple Nikes. It's partially
Can you wear them still?
yeah.
Oh, what a bitch. Go
Well, I mean they've gotten time to stretch out over almost 10 years. You know, they've had
Sure.
lots of launders. They're breaking at the seam. I had to get some new recently because I lost them for a little bit. I used to wear like specific matching, like I had a purple bra and it was like my spandex had like a purple band.
Cute.
Not so. I just trying to get to the
Clean.
game at this point.
You're like,
in
just
time.
get something clean.
Let's get to the game. I just need full support. So it's not really a superstition. It's just like I've got like several like medium intensity sports bras
Sure.
and like one like strap 'em like good
Duct tape.
strap 'em down sports bra. And so I'm like, well, I need that one for game day. I don't
Yeah.
need the cute like Athleta one that I'm just wearing around in my mom life.
I'm just like, I'm working out today.
Yeah,
Oh.
I need the tackle people one.
And not with my own boobs, but
Yeah.
with like my body.
Yes. I need the speed.
I feel that. I used to run track, and so like running, as you know, running in general is just, especially in high school when you've got double D's, they're like up here, and you're just like, I can't run.
Yeah, I don't know that.
strap them
Never had
down.
a double D, but I can assume.
Well, I used to wear two. I wear two bras. I wear one that was a size too small for me, because that would just really like suction it
Yeah.
to my body, and then one that would cover it and hold those down, the suctioned situation down.
Yes.
And then that way it wouldn't bounce. I mean, they'd still bounce, but they wouldn't like knock me out.
Slap you in the face.
Yeah.
That was the first time I ever experienced anything, not even that, but close to that, was post having Eileen and having big milk jugs. And being like, oh, I always wanted big boobs before.
No, you don't.
I don't, not as an athlete anymore.
you don't.
I appreciate my itty bitty titty committee role
Yeah.
as an athlete before this. And as we saw in this movie, the itty bitty titty committee can still win an Oscar.
Whip them out. If you want to win an Oscar, whip them out. It doesn't matter how big or small they are, just get them out.
This is no
Get your
shade.
bush and your titties
No
out.
shade on Emma Stone.
No,
She
it's
did
the
a
shit
great
on
job.
the Academy.
She did a great job in the movie. It's a weird
It's
movie.
the institution I'm mad about, Emma. It's okay. It's okay to it's okay to review a movie that we don't love.
Yeah. And it's okay to love it even if we don't.
You're right.
And tell
On
us
that-
about it.
Hey, on that wisdom, we did it. Cheers to you guys. May bedtime come swiftly for you and yours. Bye.
Bye.